Let us begin with the lecture 5th of this week on quality and compliance. Today we will be focusing on the role of export inspection agencies. In earlier lectures, we have got some glimpse of what are the various inspections that are required, and in that process, what is the certification document that has to be provided by every exporter on the specific demand of the importer country or in accordance with the various international trade regulations and guidelines. Here we will look at some of these inspection agencies in detail, and we will see what is their main task and who needs to fulfill those priorities and needs to get inspected for their consignment. So let us move ahead. Let us see what are export inspection agencies in India. These are field organizations of the Export Inspection Council under the Ministry of Commerce. So the Ministry of Commerce, Government of India has a specialized body as the Export Inspection Council. Its main purpose is to secure the interest of importers in view of checking the quality and confirming the quality of the product that is to be exported. So in essence, this Export Inspection Agency or Export Inspection Council of India works with the main aim of safeguarding the quality and safety of India's exports. By safety, we mean that the product that is being exported should be safe enough and meet some standard requirements of safety both for animal and human health. In trade literature, the particular certificate that is being provided in terms of safety can be sanitary and phytosanitary certificate. The other aim is to inspect, test, and certify notified commodities before shipment so that goods meet importing country rules and buyer specifications. It might be possible that even if the exporter has confirmed or has met all the importer country's demand or rules regarding inspection and testing, but there might be some specific demands by the importer themselves which might be different from the general guidelines being followed in the particular importer country. So it is the duty of every exporter to clearly see what are the specific buyer requirements in terms of quality inspection and certification. Their certificates such as pre-shipment inspection certificates and health or conformity certificates are accepted by customs, banks, and overseas regulators, which reduces detentions, prevent rejections at destination, and builds buyer confidence for repeat business. In all, if the exporter has fulfilled the order in absolute requirement and in absolute order of the requirement that was made by the importer country or importer firm, it will yield beneficial results for the exporter to secure any future new deals, and it will finally be a kind of authenticity and genuinity confirmation by the importing country for the exporter. It will also reduce or eliminate completely The event of any mishappening such as detention of the entire consignment due to non-fulfillment of inspection certificate or any testing that was required but was not followed, or it could be entirely rejected or a rework or another export consignment can be asked in compensation for this defective consignment. If the exporter is unable to provide the testing or inspection certificate, obviously it would deem the entire export consignment as rejected or defective. So in order to prevent such mishappenings in the future, the exporter must follow the the conditions being mentioned in the confirmation order. Let us look at what is the legal basis of Export Inspection Council and what is its mandate. EIC and EIAs function under the Section 3 of the Export Quality Control and Inspection Act 1963 and related rules and notifications. Their mandate is to ensure that notified export goods meet safety, health, and quality requirements of importing countries before they leave India. Dear students, there are in total 5 offices of export inspection agencies across the entire country. One is in Delhi, the second one is in Mumbai, the third one is in Kolkata, the fourth one is in Kochi, and there is a fifth one also that I am unable to recall. So in all, there are 5 export inspection agencies across India. With more than 4-decade experience in the field of inspection, testing, and certification of food items as per importing countries' requirements, Export Inspection Council is the only organization in India having global acceptance. So the work and the existence of Export Inspection Council for over 4 decades in the country has given it a reputation of credibility, authenticity, and genuinity, and it has helped India's exports being recognized globally, especially in developed world countries in the European Union, US, UK, and so forth. Now let us see what products these export inspection councils or various agencies cover. EIAs cover commodities that the government has notified for compulsory inspection or certification. So the government has already a whole list of items. It is updated regularly, and it is the duty of every exporter to be well aware of what commodities are notified to be and that are mandatory to have any kind of inspection or particular certification by the EIAs. Typical sectors they cover include marine products, agricultural and processed foods, leather, certain engineering items, and metal scrap. Exporters should verify coverage for their HS codes against the latest notifications. HS code, time and again we have seen, is the building block of successful trade transaction. Without identifying and using the correct HS code, the whole trade process would be futile and will result in a lot of problems and difficulties both today and in the future. Dear students, you might ask, why do exporters need EIAs in the first place? And the answer is simple. It is because it is needed by the one who is buying your product. When you go to a market to purchase any kind of commodity, it is common for every consumer, for every rational consumer, to look at certain information, certain certifications, if they are present or not on the product. If certain standards or certifications are present, a consumer can be sure and satisfied with their purchase, and they will not question the quality of the product. So it all boils down to giving a kind of credibility and approval of your product into the importing country. So EIAs give certification to the exporter's product that helps the exporter's product being approved in the foreign country, without which the product could be outrightly rejected, or it could face a lot of potential difficulties even in the future. Importing countries and buyers rely on EIA certificates as objective proof that goods meet agreed standards. Proper EIA involvement reduces detentions, prevents rejections at destination, and builds buyer confidence for repeat orders. And the confidence is not limited to the buyer only, it also boosts confidence of the exporter to approach the same market in the future, and it will also build up their confidence to approach and penetrate newer neighboring markets or newer connected markets. Now let us look at what are the various types of certification provided by the EIAs. EIAs issue different certificates depending on the product and rule, such as pre-shipment inspection certificates, health certificates, quality or conformity certificates, plant or system approvals, certificate of origin, and authenticity certificate. Pre-shipment inspection certificate, we have already looked it up in detail in previous lectures. Health certificates will confirm the hygiene that has been followed. Quality or conformity certificates, whether the product conforms to the standards mentioned in the order of confirmation between the importer and exporter. Plant or system approvals, what is the equipment that is being used, what was the system followed, entire production chain, was it approved according to the standards demanded by the importer country or the importer firm. An important thing that the EIAs provide is the certificate of origin. Time and again, we have been discussing what a certificate of origin is and how crucial it is for an exporter. A certificate of origin is a proof of identity that the product has originated from a particular country because it was considerably and significantly processed or transformed in the concerned country. Why is this important to mention or to supply this certificate? It is important to avail any kind of preferential tariffs or preferential liberalization rules. Without a certificate of origin, no exporter can claim any benefits, be it of preferential tariff liberalization or any kind of subsidy, and hence it is an important certificate that an export inspection agency provides to the exporter. Finally, it also provides authenticity certificate. The certificate type, validity, and scope are stated clearly on the issued document. So we have seen that in all there are 5 offices of EIAs across the country, and there are 30 more sub-offices backed by the state-of-art NABL accredited laboratories at various places. So these laboratories are being set up to ascertain and inspect various samples, test them, and finally an inspection certificate is then provided to the concerned exporter. How the inspection process works. It starts with the exporter booking inspection. Once the inspection has been booked, a date has been provided. On that date, the exporter presents the goods and documents that are being exported to the inspection agency. And finally, they provide access to their samples, and the concerned inspection team then tests those samples in their accredited laboratories. EIA officers verify identity, sample the lot as per a documented plan, witness test where needed, record results, and decide acceptance or corrective action with clear remarks. So in case there is an error found by the EIA officers, they will demand a correction of this error, and they will also provide a timeline during which the exporter can correct the discrepancies found in the samples, or they can also provide a new lot of sample, book a future date for inspection, but it depends on the EIA officers alone whether an entire lot can be resampled or not. Sampling and laboratory testing. Sampling plans define the lot size, sample size, and acceptance criteria, so the sample represents the whole lot without bias. Testing is performed using recognized standards in EIA or EIC laboratories or approved external labs, and test reports carry traceable numbers and dates. Plant approval and system recognition. Where rules follow, EIAs audit and approve exporters' processing plants, HACCP or quality systems, and in-house labs. Approved units may qualify for reduced consignment checks and faster certification, provided they maintain records and pass surveillance audits. So, which laboratory can perform this entire process needs to be approved by the EIA themselves. Risk-based inspection and facilitation. EIAs apply risk-based inspection. Exporters with consistent compliance and low-risk product histories face lower inspection frequency, while higher-risk lots receive closer scrutiny. As we have seen, your history determines your present inspection process. If a certain exporter has a bad reputation with the EIA because in the past their samples were not up to the mark or their certification process was cancelled, it would have some implications on their current sample testing and approval of inspection certificate. So, that is why it is important for every exporter to be as exact, as accurate in their furnishings regarding their documents and sample sizes, lots, weights, everything, so that there is a negligible chance of error. And in such cases where the histories are not supportive enough, the inspection officers would scrutinize it more in detail and it would be more lengthy process. It would be more time taking and it would also incur a lot of extra resources. This approach speeds shipments while keeping import market safety intact. So this entire thinking by the EIA of speeding up low risk export consignments and stifling the high risk consignments with a bad history has a judicious justification in the background. It will help keep import market safety in check. Rather than gaining a bad reputation in the foreign market, it is better that the EIA officers handle all such poor history exporters inside the borders only. So this is why this process is judicious and must be adhered. Documents issued after inspection. What happens after the samples are tested? After the EIA officers are satisfied with the samples, they issue a formal inspection report and wherever prescribed a pre-shipment inspection certificate or health conformity certificate. These documents accompany the shipping bill, bill of lading or airway bill, and bank papers to demonstrate compliance. So these documents are important for the customs officials, for the banks. So these documents will accompany the shipping bill, bill of lading, and bank papers. Because in the absence of these documents, it will mean as non-conformity of importer rules and guidelines. Coordination with customs and other regulators. EIAs coordinate with customs, port health, plant and animal quarantine, and other authorities so that inspection outputs align with clearance requirements. So, coordination with various authorities and agencies involved in the entire shipment or export procedure is really important for the EIAs. So, in order to carry out a smooth trade flow, the EIAs coordinate with customs officials, health, plant, and animal quarantine regulators at the port of shipment, and several authorities. And the basic aim behind this step is to align with clearance requirements at the port of shipment. Consistent descriptions, HS codes, quantities, and units across certificates and export documents prevent queries and delays. Multiple times we have seen that consistency is the utmost important thing required in the export-import procedure. Consistency when it comes to documents supplying, consistency with identification and filling out of information, be it about your organization, be it about the product, the HS code, the description of the commodity, the quantities, the weight, how many units are being exported or imported, and the various documents at each step. Any inconsistencies in any of these steps or documents would yield in delays and rejection of the consignment. So that is why coordination at every step with several regulators and agencies with the EIA officers is important. But in case of any non-conformities, how is it handled, and is there a scope for re-inspection of the lot? If a lot fails on identity, test, or labeling, the exporter must segregate the affected goods, correct the cause, and request re-inspection. So there is scope for re-inspection, yes, but the request should be properly made by the exporter if they feel that their lot has missed out on providing a crucial detail or matching up with the importer's requirement. Clear records of rework, fresh test results, and identification of corrected lots are required before the final certificate can be issued. Obviously, in the following or reworking re-inspection stage also, the inspection certificate would only be provided once the goods conform with all the required specifications, documents, and the correct workup. Timelines, fees, and planning. Inspection and certification follow predictable timelines. Exporters should book early, align dates with production and stuffing plans, and budget for published fees and any laboratory charges. So your budgeting should be accurate, in line with what could be arising from the inspection process. The exporter need to be far-sighted in this respect, arranging everything far ahead of the timeline of the delivery of the products to the shipment or boarding on the shipment, because everything is being recorded for the use of the importer. And in the pro forma invoice, you have already made a promise as an exporter to supply your good on a tentative date. So you must, as an exporter, plan well ahead in time when it comes to knowing what inspection or certifications you require for your line of product. You identify which EI agency you would be approaching, what are the requirements, how can you avail a certain certificate. For example, if it is a health certificate that you require, you must know that there is a facility to receive an e-health certificate. So what is the process? How much time is it going to take? All these things should be planned well in advance. Keeping documents, samples, and records ready reduces cycle time. Obviously, it will save a lot of time for the exporter, and timely shipment and timely arrival of the goods on the port of destination would add a lot of positive points on the exporters for seeking future orders of the same country. Now let us delve into one of the examples of marine product shipment. A seafood processor schedules EIA inspection for a frozen shrimp lot, presents temperature logs, hygiene records, and batch traceability, and provides samples for lab test. After receiving satisfying results from the exporter from the lot, the EIA issues a health certificate that is accepted by the buyer and destination authorities without objection. What is the takeaway for exporters from this entire discussion on export inspection agency? That each exporter must make use of one master product description across application, invoice, packing list, and certificates. Consistency in description of the product on all these documents. Prepare calibrated instruments, sampling space, and records before the inspector arrives. Maintain approved systems to qualify for risk-based facilitation and faster, cheaper certifications over time. Dear students, this was all about the export inspection agencies. We also have Quality Council of India. You might recall I once mentioned in one of our previous lectures. So let us also take a look on what is the work of Quality Council of India, what was the motive behind its establishment, and is it anyhow in any sense different from the export inspection agencies. So the Quality Council of India was established as a national body for accreditation on the recommendation of expert mission of European Union after consultations in Interministerial Task Force, Committee of Secretaries and Group of Ministers through a cabinet decision in 1996. So, the Quality Council of India was a result or outcome of the expert mission of EU. So, it provides essentially certifications or accreditation for all the exports meant and destined for the EU. It was set up through a public-private partnership model as an independent autonomous organization and with the support of Government of India and Indian industry, represented by mainly 3 industry associations: Association of Chambers of Commerce of India, Confederation of Indian Industry, and FICCI. Now look at what are the objectives of Quality Council of India. One of the primary objectives of the Quality Council of India is to lead nationwide quality movement in the country through National Quality Campaign aimed at creating awareness amongst citizens, empowering them to demand quality in all spheres of activities, and promoting and protecting their well-being by encouraging manufacturers and suppliers of goods and service providers for adoption of and adherence to quality standards and tools. So this autonomous organization looks for the quality of various products as well as services. To develop, establish and operate national accreditation programs in accordance with the relevant international standards and guides for the conformity assessment bodies certifying products, personnel, management systems, carrying out inspection testing, calibration and medical laboratories, proficiency testing providers, reference material producers and test facilities adhering to OECD principles of good laboratory practices. So a number of programs are launched from time to time by Quality Council of India following the guidelines and standards of the OECD principles of good laboratory practices. To develop, establish and operate national accreditation programs of various services sectors as well, such as education, healthcare, environment protection, governance, social sectors, infrastructure sector, vocational training, etc., as may be required based on national or international standards and guidelines, and where such standards are not available, they go ahead and develop accreditation standards to support accreditation programs. So we can see that the Quality Council of India stretches far beyond towards a variety of services sectors, covering not only education, health, but also environment protection, governance, social sectors, infrastructure, and vocational training. To encourage development and application of third-party assessment model for use in government, regulators, organizations, and society. To promote quality competitiveness of India's enterprises, especially micro, small, and medium enterprises through adoption of and adherence to quality management standards and quality tools. So it not only focuses on the big, large state-owned enterprises, but it also gives a separate focus to micro, small, and medium enterprises that need quite a lot of support from the government, being their small-sized ventures. They encourage industrial or applied research to publish books, literature, and periodicals and disseminate information related to the objectives of QCI and to organize or participate in trade fairs, exhibitions, seminars at national and international forum. So their work is not limited to only accreditation and quality build-up, but they also provide kind of research and development push in order to, in a way, by coming up with a lot of periodicals, research journals, literature, etc. So dear students, now we know what are the various export inspection agencies, what is their function, how were they legally established, what are the various tasks that they perform, and in addition to the EIAs, we also have the Quality Council of India established as an autonomous body on the setup of a PPP model. So in all, we have looked at the various roles these bodies perform. Thank you, dear students.